Hey everybody, in this video we are going to talk about a specific type of sequence and series. Now you talked about these back in Algebra 1, okay, so it might seem a little bit familiar. These are what we call arithmetic sequences, and these are sequences that have a constant difference between any two terms. So it looks like you're adding or subtracting the same number to get from one term to the next, okay? So I've got two different sequences here. If I want to check to see if these are arithmetic, I'm just checking to see, is that constant or is that difference constant, right? Am I doing the same thing each time? Okay, in this case, I'm adding 3 each time to get from one term to the next. So yes, this is arithmetic, and we can say that the common difference, and we use D to represent the common difference, would be 3. Okay, for the second one here, I add 1, I add 1, I add 2, and then I add 3. So we do not have a constant difference, so this is not arithmetic, and I can't, specify what that common difference is because there isn't one. So we're always looking for a constant difference, okay? That's how we can ensure that we have an arithmetic sequence. Now, let's say we have an arithmetic sequence, okay? If I want to know any term within that sequence, instead of dragging the pattern out forever, to find the one that we want, we can use this formula to find a specific term within that arithmetic sequence. Now, keep in mind, D still represents that common difference or constant difference. N represents the term number that we're looking for. And then A subscript 1 is the first term in our sequence. So down here, I have an arithmetic sequence, and I want to know the 24th term in that sequence. Well, first, I need to figure out, okay, what is the constant difference? So it looks like if we look at our sequence here, we are adding 4 each time. So my difference is going to be 4. Okay, let's see, I need to know N. Well, we're finding the 24th term, so N's going to be 24. And then we need to know the first term, which is -5. So if I know all of this information, that's all I need to write my formula. Okay, we can go ahead and set our formula up. Okay, A subscript N is going to be equal to 4, our difference, times N minus 1, plus the first term, which is -5. So you could do plus -5, but I'm just going to do -5. So now we could use this formula to find any term within the sequence. We are specifically looking for the 24th term in the sequence, so we're going to plug in 24 for N. Right, and from here it's really just order of operations. We're just simplifying. So this is going to tell us that the 24th term within our sequence is 87. So that's much quicker than, actually dragging out this pattern here, adding 4. This is what we call, remember, an explicit formula. In the last video, when we talked about explicit formulas, they weren't necessarily for arithmetic sequences, but this is how you write an explicit formula for this particular type of sequence. So let's talk about series. And remember, series is just the sum of a sequence. So we are specifically looking at how to take the sum of arithmetic sequences. Okay, that's what an arithmetic series is. So again, we have a formula. N is going to represent the number of terms that we're summing up. A1's our first one. A subscript N is the last term out of all the ones that we're summing up. And then we're dividing by 2 inside there. Now, here's the problem, right? If I want to find the sum of the first 10 terms, I need to know the first term, which is fine, but I also need to know that 10th term, which is kind of a problem here. This one's easy enough that we could drag it out, though, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, right? We can see the pattern is just going up by 2 each time. So we could just pretty easily drag that pattern out, figure out that 10th term. Now, if it was something crazier, something a little further along in my sequence, then I might want to use that arithmetic sequence formula to find that specific term. Okay, let's see. Oh, I didn't even go out far enough. Okay, 20 would be our 10th term. So let's go ahead and find out all of our important pieces of information here. N is going to be 10 since we're summing up the first 10 terms. Okay, a subscript 1 is going to be 2. A subscript n is really going to be a subscript 10 here, right? That's going to be the last term if we're summing up the first 10. And we said that is 20. So now we can write our formula, right? Let's see, we can go ahead and just jump in and do the sum of the first 10 here. So we're going to have 10 for n. We've got 2 for A1. We've got 20 for A10. Divide by 2. So then if we're just following our order of operations, if we're simplifying this, we are going to get 110. So if I take the first 10 terms in this sequence and add them all up, I'm going to get 110. Now, let's has some of that summation notation, right? Because these can be a little trickier to interpret. Now, if I want to find this series, and remember, anytime you see sigma, where we're taking a sum, we still need to know the same pieces of information. Okay, we need to know how many terms are we summing up, what's the first term, and what's the last term. Well, n, right, the number of terms we're summing up, if we're starting at 1 and going to 12, that means we're summing up 12 terms. And then if I want to find A1, I can use my formula. Remember, this formula gives me the terms in that sequence. So if I want to know A1, I just have to plug in 1, right? 6 minus 4, 2. So I know the first term would be 2. Okay, AN in this case is going to be A12. And I can do the same thing. If I want to know A12, just plug in 12. Okay, 6 times 12 is what? 72. And then we subtract 4 from that, so we're going to get 68. Now we have all of the information we need. Okay, we can quickly calculate this sum now. Okay, the sum is going to be equal to 12 times 2 plus 68, all divided by 2. Okay, and again, if we go through this calculation, we're going to find that the sum of the first 12 terms in this sequence is 420. Okay, so this video, remember, we're focusing now specifically on arithmetic sequences and series, a specific type. The first video covered them in general, okay? So you're going to have to be able to differentiate between what we've got, okay? The formulas that you saw in this video only work if you know 100% sure that you have an arithmetic sequence. Okay? You can't randomly apply these to just any sequence. It is only for arithmetic. All right, let me know if you guys have any questions, and have a wonderful rest of your day.